Hello, beautiful beings. I am here once again on my Facebook personal page for my weekly live. And let's just say this week was all the eclipse vibes. Has anyone else been feeling like, oh my God, like super emotional and feelings and sensations that are just like, I don't understand this. Like, what is happening? And at first I didn't realize, and I was in an energy healing session and she was like, it's the eclipse this week. So know that none of this is permanent. This is all temporary. And especially like this set of eclipse vibes are like so bringing up the muck and the crap and the things that are ready to be cleared. And what I found specifically for this portal of eclipses, specifically karmic patterns that are not serving, and even old karmic relationships. So I was on the phone with one of my friend Liz, who lives in Hawaii, and I was like, I feel like I need to message this ex-boyfriend. And she was like, are you serious? You're the third friend that has called me to say the same thing. And that's happening. We feel this urge. And then I even had an ex-boyfriend reach out to me too. And it's because of these eclipse energies where we get to clear karma and clear things that are in our lives and in our system that could be running subconsciously and unconsciously. And this week I had so much healing and support. I had like a 3-hour deep, like fascial pulling and like clearing out so much in my meridians and my body. Like I was literally like screaming. Like he goes in there and like gets it out and it's like, ah! So it was like really like taking out the muck and the cobwebs from a bodywork session. I had 2 energy healing sessions. I did a tapping session and I did tons of my own rituals. Like, thank the goddess for rituals. I feel like it's a way that when we don't even know what else to do, that it's so, so powerful. And I did everything from fire rituals to bath rituals to even ones connected to intention, like on the new moon, on the full moon, which also happened, I did a really big intention ritual. And new things came through too. So I was like, amazing. So much in this week, shifting, clearing, and know that it's all for our greatest becoming. I feel like at moments in time, our planet goes through these like jumps and these ascensions and these moments to support us. Like energetically, moments happen with the movement of the planets and the sun and everything and the moon and all of it together. And that's the power of astrology. But I follow Vedic astrology, which is the astrology of the sky. Meaning if you get the star app and you just like hold it to the sky, that's what I use. I don't subscribe to Western because the calculations are off. I'm still a scientist in some ways. You know, as many of you know, I've been trained as a Western medical doctor and I did melanoma research and, you know, I still, to some degree, believe in science, though I think currently in our society that there's some shady things happening in the science community where not all the studies are published and they only publish the ones they want to. So more and more I move away from mainstream science or what the powers that be want us to believe. I don't subscribe to that. But when it comes to like, let me look at the sky, see where the sun is, like see where the constellations are, the sky will tell me. And that's part of what I love to do in my rituals too, is I use, even like today in my rituality course, I'm going to be going live after this to share another module. And I'm going to be sharing about bath rituals and plants. And every plant has like a different energy. And I really am a big fan of energy and using universal energy and the energy of our planet, the energy of plants and animals and ourselves as human through our thoughts and our belief systems and how we show up. Like for me, that's what I feel like is the true science. And for me, like energy is science actually. And even though we don't have the technology to measure it yet, Like even for me, like when I do a ritual is science to me. Like I do step 1 and step 2 and step 3 and step 4. It's like a science experiment. And then I get the result. I didn't even realize that I was gonna say all this when I got on here because, as you know, I just share about my life and the things that are happening, but I'm starting to realize how me moving into a more spiritual, esoteric space in my life and allowing energy to be the guide, that science can come through, and even with that, like precise steps to give you an outcome. And that's really what a ritual is. So my science roots have actually come through now in my more mystical and spiritual work. But I'm always very much a mystical and a practical person. Like even yesterday, one of my dear friends shared on her Instagram that she was going to be hosting a master class, and she showed off her Tesla. And I was like, yeah, like show that. Like she's very spiritual, you know, and she does like Akashic readings, and she's driving around a Tesla. And I'm like, you go, girl, like show them how that you can be both spiritual and practical. And I find that the more we connect, and it's been happening for me, the more I connect with my spirituality, the more my life flourishes, the physical. So the manifestation of my Malibu beach homes, the manifestation of money, the activation and expansion of my business has been happening so beautifully, so quickly, so much more powerfully, the more I'm connected to my spirituality. And what I mean spirituality is living a life that's really connected to myself and all that is, and to be doing spiritual practice. So for me, spiritual practice looks like meditation daily, rituals regularly, like weekly at least, sometimes daily, depending on what state of life I'm in, and also connection with nature. For me, a life connected to nature is a very spiritual life because wisdom has so much and has taught me so much. I feel like I've gotten so many downloads just being in nature. Like I'll go and walk on the beach and I'll come back with a post. My ebook I wrote back in, I don't even remember what year that was, in like 2015, I think, 2014 or 2015. And I was in nature meditating at a beautiful stream in Ojai on these rocks. And this whole blog post came through that then a client was like, this needs to be like a book. And so I expanded each section of the blog to become a book. And I have nature to think as being the muse. And that's just, I feel like I've just been more and more like feeling into like, what are my desires? Like, what feels really connected and good to me? Like, how do I want to run my business? How do I want to run my life? And I feel like doing what I love in the moment, and every moment has been really important. And yeah, there's moments where there's things like my marketing team knows, like I don't feel like doing something, but I still find time to make it so and make it happen. And everything is coming together so beautifully. And I'm hungry for more. Always hungry for more. I am the woman that wants more. And there's a lot of women and men who are like that, where we don't just settle for the status quo. Like we know we're here for big things and we stop at nothing. And that's how I live my life, like super grateful for what I have. And there's more. There's more, there's more, there's more. Because I just feel like there's one life and we can like create anything we want. So why not just make it epic? So some people might think like, your life is great. What do you mean you want more? Well, I do, because there's so much more I want to impact in the world. There's so much more that I would love to see come to fruition. I deeply care about humanity, and I would love to see everyone flourishing and thriving. And I truly believe that we are here to create a reality where there's abundance for all, and beauty for all, and a spiritual life for all, and connection and love for all, because it's the truth of who we are. And I so believe that we're going through changes in our time. And sometimes it might seem like, oh my God, what is happening in this world right now? I believe that this is for our good, because it's like shaking things up so people can reclaim their power and know that like we can create any life we desire. There's no powers or forces that be that are above us. No, we hold the power. We can easily, if we don't agree with something that's happening, that's okay. It can happen, but then we can shift gears and then create what we're desiring. And I feel like that's what I did when I left Western medicine. I didn't agree with everything. Like I don't, if you're on prescription medication and it's helped you, that's great. But I believe that there's things we can do first line that are less invasive and have less side effects, like your lifestyle and meditation and energy work and things that can absolutely heal and transform, and that we don't need to like write a bunch of prescriptions to people that then gives them side effects and makes them dependent on things. So, hey, Steve. Steve is a former client who actually was able to get away from that too during a time when he was working with me in one of my courses, my first ever coaching program, which was called The Initiation back then. Now I've rebranded it to Awaken Your Spiritual Power. And Steve, I still remember your testimonial where you said that like the breath work was able to do the same thing that the prescription medications did and helps you to get off of them. So because when we do breath work or meditation or things to tap us into our own energy, we become so powerful. It's like mind over matter. Doesn't matter what's happening. Our mind is so powerful that we can create anything we desire. That's why some people are like, sending love to you too, Steve. That's why some people are like, how have you done the things that you've done in your life? And I'm like, I just desired to do them, and then I took action. Like one of the things was, I was recently telling someone like, yeah, like I traveled the whole world when I was like in my 20s. Like I touched every continent except Antarctica by the age of 25. And they're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't really know how I did that. I just had the desire and took the action steps, and I'm a big dreamer and a big manifester. And I make it happen. I don't make it happen with like force. No, I just like happen to want to travel. So then I would like cocktail waitress. And then I ended up traveling the whole world because of my cocktail waitressing job. And I was a tutor and a TA in college. And I had like all these little odds and end jobs. And all of that money I made, I used to travel the world. And even in med school, it was a very odd thing, I'm sure, to even in my fellow med students that like, here we were like in what was supposed to be, the most rigorous time of studying in our life. And I was like off in Egypt, Australia, all over Costa Rica. Like I traveled so much and I met people everywhere I went, and that always took me to the next place. And so then I started traveling, and it was like, I would meet people and it was synchronic and I would stay with them. And so I wasn't even paying for hotels and anything. And then it opened up the doors to travel. Because sometimes when you know people, you're like, oh yeah, let me go there. Let me go here. So I feel like I'm sharing all of this to let you know that the power of creating our lives is in our hands. And it's been a wild ride, and I feel that I'm a testament to that. So if you ever think like, how am I gonna do that? I've gone through so much in my life as a way to be like, I did it, you can do it too. And I wanted to come on here today because this week was not easy. There was all kinds of weird energies that came up for me, and I know that it did for other people too. And I wanted to lovingly let you know that it was in the stars. Like it was on purpose happening like this, because there was a very major eclipse with the moon. And this is the time when our shadows, the things not serving us, our karmic patterns, the things that are ready to go, come up to be released. And I wanted to share that my experience to make it all happen with so much more ease and grace was I had support in my life, the healers and the mentors and the body workers and the people I work with, but then also through my own power, through the power of rituals. And I use rituals all the time in my work. And that's kind of been the evolution from, I was mentioning about Steve who kind of joined us. I don't know if he's still on, but at that time, that was back in 2014, I wasn't actively using rituals as part of my repertoire and signature of how I coach and support people, because during that time, I was going through the rituals, actually not actually some of them, but I then took years to go and travel and study and all this stuff. And now rituals are a big backbone of how I coach and mentor people. And so what I did was, so that I could make it more accessible, because I know not everyone is able to work with me one-to-one or in my coaching programs, that I decided to offer my rituality course, and that's happening right now. And it's still open to join and come inside. And today I'm going to be sharing on bath rituals and different plants, so more of like a shamanic approach to things. But I want you to know that rituals are a powerful way to support you, to support your transformation. And when things are challenging, rituals are so powerful to support you in doing something and allowing the magic and the grace of our divine support team to come in, for the universal energies to come in. I love rituals so much. I'm so grateful for them. So, Steve Istahill, thank you for sharing. The last few days have been confusing, and I knew it had to do with the moon. Yeah, it totally had to do with the moon. So you could be like, whew. And in moments like that, when things are super challenging, I really recommend to remind, and I did this week, this will pass. This is not forever. This will pass. It's just a moment in time. And then to do the things like I share, like I do certain bath rituals. I do certain fire rituals to help me clear the energy. So there's so many different ways to go about it. And I feel like in my rituality course, that's one that it's been like so divine that it's been like, now when I need it the most is when I need to teach it. And I think that's actually the beauty of how it works. Like, we always teach what we need. And I trust that those who are ready to receive find the teachers and find the places where they can receive those transmissions for the next level of becoming. So just wanted to come on here, say hi. I'm actually going to go into my ritual course now and deliver the next module. But I send you all so much love. I love coming on here weekly to just share my life, my thoughts, what's going on. And maybe there's somewhere that resonates with you too. And anywhere that I can be an inspiration, a hope, I'm so, so grateful for. So with that, I send you all so much love. Happy Sunday. It's warm in the house, but it's windy outside in Malibu, but the elements are very alive. And I wish you a beautiful day. I love you. Thank you for being here. Message me if you have any questions. I would be glad to answer them. And I send you love. Bye for now.